Hello, good evening. Am I audible to you now? Please let me know in the chat box so that we can start our today's session. Yes, good evening, everyone. So, today, as you can see, today we'll just complete the very much important chapter from some point of view as well as its so than the subject. So, today's chapter is nothing but quadratic equations. You know what is quadratic equation, what types of question might be asked you in your and like this. So, for the first 5 minutes, we'll just go through the brief revision of this chapter so that we can start with all the PYQs and important questions from exam point of view. Okay. So what is the meaning of quadratic equation? Quadratic equation is nothing but we just have to consider an equation in which degree of that equation should be 2, where the leading coefficient, that is coefficient of x square, should not be equal to 0. Then only we can say that we have a quadratic equation. So for this, a is nothing but coefficient of x, which is known as the leading coefficient, and b will be the coefficient of x, where c is nothing but just a constant term. So for the first half of your syllabus, you just have to check in this that what is the quadratic methods to solve the quadratic equation. They might ask you many more types of questions. Solve this quadratic equation, or there might be a word problem based on it, where we have to go through these three concepts. The first part is nothing but the factorization method. So for each and every case, there will be one of the quadratic equation. Suppose we just consider it a general equation, which is nothing but ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay. So for finding out the factorization method, see what we have to do here. Just check that we have to consider the product of constant term and leading coefficient. We have such type of quadratic equation. We just have to consider product of leading coefficient and constant term with its sign such that we have to find such factors of this product which will give us addition as a coefficient of x, which will give us addition of coefficient of x. You can say that suppose we have a quadratic equation something x square minus of 5x minus 6 equals to 0. Or we can say that x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Something like this. So what we have to check here? We just have to consider a product of leading coefficient. For both of these cases, we can consider it as a 1. So 1 into constant term. I can see there will be minus 6. So we just have to find such factors of minus 6 which will give us addition as a minus 5. Which will give us addition as a minus 5. So student, just remember that if we are getting product as a negative number, if we are getting product as a negative term, it means that one of the number should be positive, one of the number should be negative, and we have to check that addition should be minus 5. So we know that 6 can be done as 6 into 1, but addition should be minus 5 and that should be minus 6. Hence I will give negative sign to the greater number. So for first quadratic equation, you can say that the factors will be x minus 6 and x plus 1 equals to 0. If you have to go for the directly root because minus 6 and plus 1 are for the factor 1, right? So its root will be either 6 or minus 1. Then up to this step, similarly, you can check for this term. Now we have to check that what will be the products of such bus which will give us addition as a minus 1 and its product should be plus 6. So obviously you can say that minus 3 and minus 2 will be such numbers. I hope you are getting this one. Okay. So basically, this will be our first part. Now, second term is nothing but, second formula is nothing but, we have to solve a given quadratic equation using completing the square method. So for finding out such terms, for using that completing square method, you must know that what will be the square of a plus b bracket square and a minus b bracket square. You know that a plus b bracket square is nothing but a square plus twice ab plus b square, and a minus b bracket square will be a square minus twice ab plus b square. Then up to this case, so for finding out such types of examples where we have to use completing the square method. So exactly what we need to do in such types of examples. There will be one of the quadratic equation. Again, we will just use the general term ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Then up to this part. Now the case is that it should be something like this. So I can consider this as the x plus a whole bracket square or x minus a whole bracket square. So for first thing, I want that leading coefficient should be 1. It means that we just have to subtract the whole equation by a. So that you will get x square plus b upon a times x plus c upon a equals to 0. Now, x square is there. If you will just use such types of example, x plus a square equals, what will be its expansion? X square minus twice of x plus a square. So I can see I have a term x square. So obviously we can cancel this out for b upon a times x and 2 times xa. So we just have to compare these two terms here. It means that I am getting 2 times of xa equals to b upon a times x. Right? Okay. Suppose this will be the small x. So I can cancel this out so that you will get a as a b upon 2 times x. So if you have to use such types of case, if you have to make this is as the x plus a whole bracket square or something like this, you just have to do only one case. We just have to add this a square to the both sides. It means that we are getting something x square plus b upon x plus c upon x. So I can say it as a x square plus b upon a times x plus b upon 2a whole bracket square. We are just adding this term. As we are adding this term, so we just have to subtract as well. That's it. So using this, you just have to solve the remaining case. I hope you are getting this one. Just consider that always equate b upon a times x with 2 times of x. So that x will get cancelled and you will get that a as a b upon 2 times of it. That's it. So this will be the second term, and the easiest case that obviously you might have to do some calculation here, but this is always the easiest method, fine. So what is the quadratic formula method? You just have to check. You just have to remember what will be the formula for that case. If you have a quadratic equation in terms of x, then for ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, I can say that x is nothing but minus of plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2 times it, where a is nothing but coefficient of x square, b is nothing but coefficient of x, and c is nothing but constant term, right? So using that b square minus 4ac, they might ask you another types of question, that is what will be the nature of roots. So for such types of case, you just have to find out what will be the value of discriminant. You all know that for a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, discriminant is nothing but the value of b square minus 4ac. B square minus 4ac. So you just have to compare the given quadratic equation with the generator. so that you will get the values of A, B and C. And after finding out the actual value of B, you just have to check that whether it is a positive one or negative one or equals to 0. If it is greater than 0, then there will be two distinct real roots. Okay. If D equals to 0, then there will be two real and equal roots. So if D is greater than 0 or D equals to 0, for both the cases, you will get the real value. But if D is less than 0, then there will not be any real root. अगर d का वैल्यू आपका लेस देन 0 रहता है तो आगे आप क्या करेंगे कि हम 11th में वैसे ही देखने की बात है बट फॉर नाउ आपको क्वेश्चन इस टाइप से पूछा जाता है that they will give you a quadratic equation where either a b or c one of the coefficient will be the missing one and they will additionally provide you some information that for this quadratic equation there will be two distinct real roots or for this quadratic equation there will not be any real root. So you just have to find out what will be the value. Fine, getting this one. So this will be the second one. We'll just try to solve more questions based on it. So for first question, solve this quadratic equation. 100x square minus 20x plus 1 is equal to 0. What we have to check? Our first part is that I will just try to find out what will be the product of these two terms. 100 into 1. Obviously, it will be plus 100. So I just have to find out such factors of 100 which will give me addition as a minus 20. Now the part is that the product is a positive one, right? But the addition is negative. It means that obviously the signs of both terms will be negative here. I know that 100 can be written as 10 into 10 where minus 10 plus minus 10 will give you answer as a minus 20. Right? It means that we just have to split this middle term minus 20 as first term 100 times x square maybe as it is. I will just write this minus 20 as a minus 10x minus 10x plus 1 equals to 0. Right? So from the first two terms, I can take 10 times x common from it. So first part is 100 times x square. If you are just taking 10 out of it, it means that you just have to divide the first term by 10x. Obviously, its answer will be 10x. And we are just considering that we are now this 10x, so there will be only minus 1. Now, the second part is that we just have to repeat the whole bracket as it is. That is 10x minus 1 equals to 0. Now, I can see there is a plus 1 and we have minus 1 in this bracket. So, I know that minus 1 into minus 1 will give you answer as a plus 1, right? So, I have to consider minus 1 here. Now, the next part is that obviously the common one will be as it is there. From the first term and the second term, I can write 10x minus 1 equals to 0. Getting this one? So, I can say that 10x is equal to 1 or 10x is equal to 1. Obviously, the both are same here. Hence, the value of x will be 1 upon 10 for 2 times. Right? If you can check it for such type of quadratic equation, you will get the value of discriminant is equal to 0. Hence, we are getting two real and equal roots here. Fine. So now see, the second one is that we have to solve this quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. So for 10th exam, obviously the presentation is very important. Fine. So if they will ask you such type of question, what you have to do here actually? The first part is that you just have to compare the given quadratic equation with our general form, that is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. You will get the value of a as a 2, b as a minus 7 and c as a 3. They are saying that we have to use the quadratic formula method, right? So you know that quadratic formula method is nothing but x is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. That's it. This will be the case. You just have to put all the values of A, B, C here so that you will get the final answer. Okay? See, that's it. So you just have to put all the values there. I can see that B is nothing but -7, but we have to consider minus of minus B. So there will be 7 plus or minus B square, as the value of B is -7, B square will be 49 minus of 4 times A into C divided by 2 times of A. After calculating this, you will get your final answer. Getting this one? So there will be 4 2s are 8, 2s are 24. So if you will just subtract 24 out of 49, there will be root 25. So either you have to consider plus 5 or minus 5. So your answer will be either 7 plus 5 upon 4 or 7 minus 5 upon 4. That is 12 upon 4 or 2 upon 4. This will be the answer. Okay. These are just basic types of questions which may ask you for 1 marker or 2 marker. Now see, it is just a theory type of question. Find the consecutive positive integer such that sum of whose squares is 365. So as I told you, for your 10th boards, presentation is so equally important. So they are asking about some two consecutive positive integers. We know that consecutive integers is nothing but we just have to add one into the previous one. So let us assume that two consecutive terms will be x and x plus 1. So using the given condition, the sum of whose squares is 365. That is, first one square will be as it's obviously the second one. You just have to consider x plus 1 whole bracket square, whose addition is equal to 365. Whose addition is equal to 365. So you just have to consider what will be the value of a plus b whole bracket square, that is x square plus twice x plus 1 equals to 365. See, we are just quickly going through that important chapters, one short revision for 10th boards. Obviously, next week we'll just go for, because in this week we have scheduled all the one shot years for CBSE. Then in the next week we'll just go for the IItian, and for the next one we'll just go through the SSC book. Okay, but there are few chapters which are common for all three types of. So for now, I can say that after equating this 2 times of x square plus 2x, and if we just take that 365 to the LHS, then there will be minus 9. So I can write minus 364 there. So you can just divide the whole equation by 2. So can write x square plus x minus of 182 equals to 0. Obviously, they are saying that these will be the positive integers, so its answer will be 0. You just have to find out what will be those numbers. Now the question is that I can see A and B as a plus 1, but C is equal to something minus 182. And what way? What is the easiest way to find such types of questions? Because if you will go for that formula method, it will be the negative one, right? So what we have to consider here, 182. I know that 182 can be written as 2 into 91, right? So now again check that 91 can be written as 13 into 7. So these two will be as it is, and 91 can be written as 7 into 30. So if I will just club these two numbers, that is 2 into 7 will be 14 and this will be 30. But its addition should be plus 1 and product is the negative one. It means that we just have to give the negative sign to this one. So I can say that its factors will be x plus 14 and x minus 13 equals to 0. Are you getting this one? In how many ways? There will be three ways, right? But the easiest method is that just check Just try to find out the factors of that number, and after that we'll just club in a such a way that it will satisfy the condition. So here x is equal to minus 14 or x is equal to 13. But in the question they are strictly saying that find two consecutive positive integers. So we cannot go with that x is equal to minus 14. So x is equal to 13 will be the first number and second number is 14. Correct? Getting this one? Okay. Now, yes, it is just question here. Now see, again they have asked such types of question for 1 marker or 2 marker, and it is a quite easier one. What they said, x is equal to 3 is one root of this quadratic equation, and x is equal to 3 is one of the root. It means that if I will replace that x by 3, if I will replace that x by 3, it will satisfy the given equation. It will satisfy the given equation. That is 9 minus 6k minus 6 equals to 0. So 9 minus 6 will be 3. 3 minus 6k is equal to 0. So you can easily solve for the another case. Value of k will be 1/2. That's it. See, such types of question has been asked in your questions repeatedly for 1 or 2 marker, and it is a quite easier one. You just have to check that if x is equal to 3 is one of the root, it means that it will satisfy the given condition. As it will satisfy the given condition, it means that if you will replace x by that number, the answer should be 0. Okay. Now see, it is just second half of your topic. The first half is related to what is the quadratic question and how many ways we can solve it. For second type, they will directly provide you what will be the root or what are the conditions for that root, and you just have to find out what will be that quadratic equation. So for such types of question, you just have to remember the formula that x square minus of sx plus b equals to 0, where s stands for sum of the roots and p stands for product of the roots. Okay. So see, if alpha and beta are two roots of the equation, then the required quadratic equation can be written as x square minus of sx, that is sum of two roots alpha plus beta times x plus product of the roots is equal to 0. Okay. This will be the first part. And second case is that if we have a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, then we can directly say that the sum of the roots, that is alpha plus beta, is equal to minus of coefficients of x upon coefficient of x square, minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, that is minus b upon a, and product of the roots is given as constant term divided by coefficient of the x square. That's it. We just try to solve more question based on it. See, usually they will ask you 3 or 4 marker question based on such concept. See, for this question, the sum and product of the zeros of quadratic polynomials. Zeros is nothing but another word for the roots. Okay. The sum and product of the zeros of the quadratic equation as a 3 and minus 10. So as I told you, for both of question, presentation is equally important. So first of all, I will say that let alpha and beta be the zeros of quadratic equation. Okay, so using the given condition, sum is 3 and product is minus 10, and the product is minus 10. So we have to find the quadratic polynomial. We have that equation as a x square minus sx plus p equals to 0. That is x square minus sx plus p equals to 0. That's it. Just put alpha plus beta as a 3 and alpha into beta as a minus 10. It is a quite easier one, right? You just have to go with. Okay. Now see. Here we have the second type of question. The quadratic equation x square minus 4x plus 3 times root 2 is equal to 0 has either two distinct real roots or two equal real roots or two real roots and no real roots or more than two. So the first part is that obviously if we are talking about the quadratic equation, then there will be only two roots. So the option has been cancelled. And for just checking out what will be the answer, we have to find what will be the value of b. That is, what will be the value of discriminant, where b is given as a b square minus 4s. So b is nothing but coefficient of x. It will be minus 1, right? Here, sorry, minus 4 times of a, that is 1 into c. I just have to check that whether it will be positive, negative or equals to 0 so that we can say what is the actual answer. So there will be minus 1 square which is nothing but plus 1. Then 4 into 3 will be minus 12 times root 2. So obviously 1 minus 12 times of root 2. Correct? Because 12 into root 2 will be always greater than 1. It means that this will be the negative case. As it will be the negative one, it means that your answer will be option C, that is no real roots. If you will get that b is greater than 0, then we can say that there will be two distinct roots and something like this. C. Again, this is the 4-mark question. Find the value of k such that this polynomial has the sum of its zero equals to half of their product. So obviously, as we have done for the earlier case, first of all, we just have to consider that like alpha and beta be the zeros of scale. Then as per the condition, sum of its zeros is equal to half of their product. But we know that sum is nothing but if we are talking about that ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, then alpha plus beta is equal to minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square and alpha into beta is equal to constant upon coefficient of x square. So just equating this with the case, I can see here the value of A will be 1, the value of B will be minus of 4 plus 6 and the value of C will be 2 times of such numbers. So we just put all the values here. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus of coefficient of X, that is minus of K plus 6 upon coefficient of x square, which is nothing but 1, is equal to half of constant term upon coefficient of x. So first thing I can say here, 2 will get cancelled as well as minus of minus will get cancelled. So you will get something as a k plus 6 equals to 2 times of k plus 1. So you just have to equate this. The k on the LHS will go to the RHS, and so it will be 2k minus k and the LHS will be 6 minus 1. So we can say that the value of k is equal to 5. Isn't it very easy? You just have to remember this procedure. If they are talking about ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, then alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a and alpha into beta is equal to constant term upon it. That's it. Okay. Here again, you can see the action now. Okay. Which of the following equation has the sum of its roots as a 3? So they are talking about sum of the roots. Again, we know that if we are talking about ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, sum of the roots is nothing but minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. So we'll just try to find out what will be the case for first one. Minus of coefficient of x, that is minus of minus 3 upon coefficient of x square, which is nothing but 2. So it will be something 3 upon 2. So obviously this will not be the required answer here. Now for the b case, minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, which is nothing but minus 1. So in this case, minus minus will get cancelled and you will get the value of alpha plus beta as a 3, which is the required one. Getting this one? Okay. Now, just try to go through this question. So what we can do here? If minus 3 is root of the quadratic equation, 2x square plus px minus 15 is equal to 0, while the quadratic equation x square minus of 4px plus k has the equal roots, then we have to find what will be the value of k. Now the thing is that it is clearly given that minus 3 is the root of this quadratic equation. It means that if I will replace this x by minus 3. The equation satisfied, that is 2 times of minus 3 square plus p times of minus 3 minus 15 equals to 0. So minus of 3 square is nothing but 9. 9 2s will give us answer as 18. Minus 3 times p minus 15 equal to 0. So you will get 3 minus 3p equals to 0. After solving for this, you will get the value of a p as a 1. So the now only remaining part is that just put the value of a p in the second equation, that is x square minus 4 times px plus k equals to 0. What we have to use here, we'll just replace that p by 1. Okay. Again, if minus 3 is the root of this equation, while the quadratic equation, the second one also has the equal root, it means that this quadratic equation has the equal roots. So it is nothing but x square minus of 4x plus k equals to 0. As they will have equal, it means that the value of discriminant equals to 0, and we know that value of discriminant is nothing but b square minus 4ac. So b square minus 4ac equals to 0. But for this case, what will be the value of b? B is nothing but coefficient of x, that is minus of 4 whole bracket square minus of 4 times a into c, that is 4 into 1 into k equals to 0. So 60 minus 4k equals to 0. After solving for this, we will get 16 as a 4k. Hence, the value of the k as the 4. This will be the required solution. This question has been asked for marks, and what we have to do for the first part, you just have to use the concept that if x is equal to a is one of the root or one of the 0, it means that if you will replace that x by a, it will satisfy the given equation. And for the second case, they are given us the second quadratic equation has the equal root. It means that we have to equate this d with equal to 0. So b square minus 4ac equals to 0. This will be the actual answer. Then getting this one, we'll just go through the last two examples and then we'll stop for today. See, here you have to find what will be the value of c for which the quadratic equation has the equal roots. For this session, each and every question has been handpicked for you. All these questions are very much important for your board exam. Definitely, you can see one or two types of such question in your exam. Okay, so do it properly and don't forget that you have to consider that the presentation should be much broad. So we have to find the value of c where it will have a equal roots. We know that if they are talking about equal root, it means that the value of b equals to 0. That is b square minus 4ac equals to 0. Right? So, what will be the value of b here? Minus of minus 2 times c plus 1, because b is nothing but coefficient of x. B square minus of 4 times AC, that is 4 times coefficient of x square into the constant term equals to 0. Now, minus of, usually students get confused into this. See, you cannot cancel this minus sign. The first part is that, first of all, you just have to consider what will be square. Minus of square, it will be always positive. It means that you can consider here directly 4 times of c plus 1 whole bracket square. But this minus sign will not get cancelled. Getting this one? It is a very much important part. That's why we have considered this question here. One cannot cancel this minus sign with the 1. First part is that minus of square, so obviously it will be the positive one, but there is originally negative sign before that bracket. So we have to carry this minus sign as it is. Minus of 16 times 6 plus 1 equals to 0. So one thing you can do here, I can see for both the term there is a minus sign as well as a 4. So we'll just consider that we are dividing this equation through only by minus 1. So you will get c plus 1 whole bracket square minus 16 divided by minus 4. It will give the answer as a plus 4 only. C plus 1 equals to 0. So that's it. You just have to find out what we get of square of this. So which is nothing but c square plus 2c plus 1 plus 4c plus 4 is equal to 0. That is c square plus 6c plus 5 is equal to 0. We just have to find out such factors of 1 into 5, which is nothing but 5, which will give us addition as a 6. Which will give us addition as a 6. So obviously it will be 5 and 1. So you will get that C as a either C plus 5, C plus 1 equals to 0. So value of C will be either minus 1 or minus 5. So for which value you will get L root, this will be the case. Then getting this one. Now it is just the important question, and usually student will just go for that question. आपको ऐसा लगता है इतना बड़ा कुछ पूछा गया, चलो मिस कर लेते हैं, ऐसे बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. One cannot skip such type of question because obviously it is a little bit dear one, but it will give you the direct answer. For that, you must have to know what is the relationship between speed, distance, and time. That's it. A train travels a distance of 480 km at a uniform speed. If the speed had been 8 km per hour less, then it would take 3 hours more to cover the same distance. Okay. So first part is that they are talking about the uniform speed and they are either increasing or decreasing the speed. So for that, we'll just consider let x be, that is x kilometer per hour, be the uniform speed. Okay. Then what will be the actual time there? We know that time is nothing but distance upon speed, that is 480 upon speed. It will be the actual time. Now they are saying that if speed has been less, that is our actual uniform speed is x kilometer per hour, it will just consider it as a x minus 8. Then it would take 3 hours more. Means first they are taking 480 upon x, but now it will take 3 hours. That's it. So the only important and crucial part is that you just have to find out what will be the actual way, what will be the actual numerical way of this word problem. Once you will get this, you can easily solve for this question. So the first part I will do here 480 upon x minus 8 is equal to 480 plus 3x upon x. Now just cross multiply. If we just consider the cross multiplication here, then you will get 480 times x is equal to x minus 8 into 480 plus 3x. So obviously the left side will be as it is. If we just simplify the right side, that is x into the whole second bracket, first term from the first bracket into the whole second bracket, then the remaining part from the first bracket, which is nothing but minus 8 into 480 plus 3x. That's it. So 480x is equal to 480x plus 3x square minus of 8 into 480 minus 24x. So the first part is that you can easily cancel this 480x because I will just move this 480x to the RHS side, it will get cancelled. So you will get the quadratic equation as a 3x square minus 24x minus of 8 into 480 equals to 0. Another part is that obviously I have not simplified what will be actually its answer. Let it be as it is because I know that it will get simplified in the next step. Each and every coefficient is a multiple of 3. So I can directly say that dividing this equation through 3 by 3, you will get something x square minus of 8x minus of 8 into 160 is equal to 0. Okay, again I am not simplifying what will be its answer here. See, because I have to find out a factor of minus 8 into 160 such that its addition should be minus 8. Such that its addition should be minus 8. So I will just consider what might be these factors. Suppose 8 will be as it is. Then 160 can be written as 16 into 10, right? 160 can be written as 16 into 10. If you will just check here, 8 plus will give you answer as a 18, 18 and 16. So ये तो कुछ आपकी काम की चीज नहीं है. आपको क्या चाहिए? That difference should be 8. So for finding out such difference, I will just check that आप एक और क्या यहाँ पे काम कर सकते हो. Suppose अगर आप ये 16 ऐसे लिखते हो, that is 2 into 8. Then again you will get 16 and 18, which will not give you sum as a minus 8. So ये आपका हो गया प्लान कैंसिल. सपोज 10 के लिए आप कंसीडर करोगे, 10 के लिए आप क्या बोल सकते हो, कुछ 2 into 5. देखो 10 के लिए आप क्या बोल सकते हो, 2 into 5. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द इजीएस्ट वे टू फाइंडिंग सच टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज कभी कभी आपको वो न्यूमेरिकल फॉर्म भी इजीली मिल जाता है, बट आगे जाने के बाद इतना कुछ डिफिकल्ट आपके पास रहता है कि आप वही पे छोड़ देते हो. But it is a quite easier one. See, आपको difference 8 चाहिए था. I can say here that 8, 5 to 16 ये ऐसे कुछ आपके पास रहने वाला है. ये आपको combine करना है कुछ इस वे से such that 16 into 2 will give you answer as a 32 and 8 into 5 will give you answer as a 40. And I know that difference between these two is a minus and that's it. It means that you just have to split the middle term, that minus 8, as a minus 40 plus 32. X square minus 40 x plus 32 minus okay plus 32x minus of 8 times 160 is equal to 0. That's it. Now just solve it. You will get the right answer. As you can see here, I can take x common from it. Okay. Either this way or directly you can say that its answer will be x minus 40 into x plus 32 equals to 0. It means that x will be either 40 or x is equal to minus 32. But we are saying that x is nothing but a speed and speed cannot be negative. So we'll just go with this option. Hence, the required answer is equal to 40. Are you getting this one? Student usually get confused that in how many ways we can find out this answer. See, here they are using what we write in calculation, but it is a little bit lengthier one. So what you have to do, just try to find out such a factor so that after clubbing different options from this, it should satisfy the given condition. Okay, that is. So in the next lecture, yes, this will be our last lecture for today's session. In the next lecture, we'll just see the one short video for another important chapter which have done weightage in your board exam, that is arithmetic progression. Okay. Alpha and beta roots of this, then we have to find out what is the value of alpha square plus beta square. I know that alpha plus beta is nothing but a minus of b upon a, and alpha into beta, is equal to c upon 1, correct? That is coefficient of x square, coefficient of x, and the constant. So, if alpha plus beta is equal to 4 and alpha into beta is equal to minus 5, I have to find out what is the value of alpha square plus beta square. Suppose I will just find out if alpha plus beta is equal to 4, then squaring this, you will get alpha plus beta whole bracket square is equal to 4 square, correct? That is, if you will just expand the first bracket, you will get alpha square plus 2 times of alpha beta plus beta square is equal to 16. Getting this one? Now, we just have to find out what will be the answer of alpha square plus beta square. Hence, that 2 times of alpha beta will get shifted to the right side. Now, as the alpha into beta is equal to minus 5, so 16 minus of 2 times alpha into beta is nothing but minus 5. So, its answer will be 16 plus 10, that is 26. This will be the required answer. Again, this type of question has been asked in your examination for 2 markers, but just check that what do you know about it, and otherwise you can find this out. Okay, done. So this is all for our today's session. As I told you, Wednesday we'll just go through that AP. Each and every question from this session has been handpicked for your प्रिपरेशन डेफिनेटली आप बहुत अच्छे से बोर्ड की प्रिपरेशन अभी कर भी रहे हो, बट अब इतना ज्यादा टाइम आपके पास नहीं है कि आप ईच एंड एवरी एक्सरसाइज में से क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करोगे, ईच एंड एवरी सॉल्व एग्जांपल लिखोगे. सो आपकी हेल्प होने के लिए हम ऐसे कुछ साइंटिफिक क्वेश्चन में लेके आ रहे हैं जो ऑब्वियसली बोर्ड पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत ही ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर सिर्फ आप ये वन शॉट वीडियो देखते हो, then you can easily secure the full marks based on this chapter. Okay, this is it for today. We'll see you on Wednesday, and that session will continue with arithmetic progression. Okay.